Oh, thanks for saving me.
Well, actually, I was saving this plant.
Hi, this is Buster Graham, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFX-TV. I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux. Got a panel of people I introduce you to. First off, he is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard exclusively on Spreaker.com/HWR Media. He is the illuminous one, the shining star, Rick Starr. Rick, how you shining?
I'm doing good, Billy. Thanks for having me.
The incomparable Lance Moss from YouTube.com/Lance Moss TV is here. Lance, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Bay Area MVP.
I told you, leave the pizza plate alone. Put it down.
No more sausage pizza, please. The master of Rockin' Ways 11294 is here. It's Chris Rogers. Chris, how are you doing?
I don't want to know what kind of sausage you're talking about, Billy. And by the way, Billy, I just filled up another catheter bag. Where do you want it?
Right next to your Rockin' Ways 11294 toilet, which is also beside the Sega toilet as well. Our old friend James from the Big Easy is here. James, how are you?
Let's repeat the down. Let's go first down. Let's get it on.
And our special guest from the trilogy, he is the GCW Extreme Champion. He will be in action May 19th in Abbeville. It's the wrestling god himself, Ashton Spears. Mr. Spears, welcome. How are you doing?
You know, Billy, I'm not only a wrestling god, but I'm a guy. Currently, I'm trying to destroy China, so let's do this quick.
And he doesn't mean the country either. But anyway, it was made. I wonder how many people got that, as we did lose Bay Area MVP there, Rick. I don't know if you can try to bring him back or not.
I'm working on it.
It was announced.
It's not a big loss, trust me.
It was a big loss for me. I won't be able to say his name anymore. But anyway, it was announced on this week's Monday Night Raw that would see Chris Jericho taking on Fandango. No match stipulations yet for Extreme Rules, but they still made the matchup anyway, so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about it. And Rick, one thing...
Hey, Billy, do you want me to be Fandangoing in the background while y'all are talking about it?
Only when we're talking to you, Chris. Only when we're talking to you. But, Rick, one thing a lot of fans have been saying so far about this matchup between Jericho and Fandango is the fact that the build-up has been really quite bad. Do you agree with that?
Quite bad? Kind of like very bad.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really care for this angle. I personally just be glad when this angle is over. Hopefully this feud will be the last, when we start WrestleMania, I saw him win. It was kind of like, okay, fine, give him the good win, and maybe he'll move on to something bigger and better. And now that he's still facing Jericho, and this thing's just been like dragging on and dragging out, and what we saw on Raw, I mean, it was. I liked the twist. It was a little bit better, but even still, come on.
Ashton Spears, I gotta ask you this question. With the fact that the way it was so disappointing on Monday Night Raw, despite the fact that the Fandango gimmick is basically a dancing gimmick, and considering Chris Jericho's past history with Dancing with the Stars, do you feel that maybe the WWE could have worked the angle a little bit better than what they did?
I just think the WWE, man, I think they jumped the ball with the way the WrestleMania crowd reacted towards Fandango. I think they thought they had something going. Funny they don't. I don't think it's over. I think it was just 2 nights, and Chris Jericho is just, I don't know. I think they just didn't build it up right. I don't think Fandango's are gonna be anywhere near the player they thought he would be, and I'm with Rick. Hopefully, they're in this angle and Jericho can go on, because if you listen to after, Jericho kind of said he's to quit listening to the fans, and I could see maybe a heel turn from Jericho, or maybe him getting a push. I'm just hopefully they kill Fandango.
Lance, I gotta ask you this question. Do you foresee a match stipulation being announced for Jericho and Fandango? And if so, what kind of stipulation would you like to see between these two?
The only thing I can think of, loser leaves the ballroom.
Loser leaves the ballroom?
Hooray!
Only thing I can think of.
All right, well, Chris, what about you? It's the same question that I asked Ashton Spears. Do you feel that possibly with the Fandango gimmick being a dancing gimmick and Jericho's past history with Dancing with the Stars, do you feel that WWE could have worked it better, or do you feel that possibly that they dropped the ball?
I thought the Fandango thing was shit from the beginning. I never liked it, never have, never will. It's Johnny Curtis being in drag, basically, in my opinion. So he just needs to go da 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 on the fuck out of here. Back to NXT. Actually, NXT too good for him. Just fire his ass.
James, going back to before WrestleMania and like right at the start, right at the precipice of this storyline between Jericho and Fandango, do you feel that possibly that this gimmick at that time, at the start of it, had potential? And now looking back on it now, in what ways do you feel that possibly, and that's what a lot of fans are saying, that this storyline is just a dying storyline?
Yeah, at the time of that, I think Fandango had potential. I just think he should have maybe competed a little more instead of just being this. I'm not gonna wrestle until somebody pronounce my name correctly. But but at the same time as this the ending from here, from after Mania to right now. I think the reason why WWE had dropped the ball was, number one, they didn't have that much time to build it up with the fact that Chris Jericho was doing his thing with Fozzy in his band. And and I think really it's like as what somebody said, is that WWE thought they had some after WrestleMania with Fandango, with how the crowd was doing his its entrance thing, but it died down because it wasn't like a crowd from the United States. It's supposed to be a crowd from like the United Kingdom and all that stuff. So really, it's just WWE did have dropped the ball on this one.
All right, well, we do apologize to Bay Area MVP. Apparently, he's having some technical issues with his internet, so he dropped out. So we will not be able to hear from him on his final thoughts and predictions. But it is now time to go into final thoughts and predictions for Chris Jericho versus Fandango. And all the fans are saying out there, why are you bothering? But it's to be fair to cover every match that's an Extreme Rules, excluding the pre-match. By the way, you know what? Let's go ahead and just quickly cover that too. Which are final thoughts and predictions. The Miz taking on Cody Rhodes. Let's go ahead and just wipe out two birds with one stone. Rick, starting with you. First off, your final thoughts and predictions for Jericho versus Fandango, and then just very quickly, the Miz versus Cody Rhodes on the YouTube pre-show.
Miz and Cody Rhodes. I find it kind of funny that the Cody Rhodes is in another pre-match. Was it Miz that was in a pre-match?
No, it was Miz.
Yes,
it was Miz and Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett, yeah. So I'm not sure if you can consider that a plus or a plus or an advantage. Take it for what you will, considering he just came back. So that's kind of a tough call. Will he win? I think he's gonna win. So is that a minus for Cody Rhodes? Again, we've seen what happened with Wade Barrett. Since he's been on his losing streak, he's been nowhere to see. He's been MIA.
Well, actually, didn't it start the night after WrestleMania when he won back the title?
Yeah, he might be right.
Yeah, right now the pecking order in the WWE is a little bit weird. We've seen, like I said, I don't want to go way too off the track because, like you said, you're just asking me the thoughts. I just think The Miz is going to win because it's his comeback match. I'll just leave it at that. And then right now, moving on to this match, Do I see Fandango winning? All I can say is if he doesn't win, well, his career, he's gonna go right back down to like the job squad. So, it's gonna be. I really don't care about the match, so I'll just do pick. I hope Jericho wins, so we can finally see him for the jobber he is.
Well, while we have him here, let's go to Ashton Spears from the trilogy. Ashton, first off, very quickly, your prediction and your thoughts for The Miz versus Cody Rhodes on the YouTube pre-show for Extreme Rules, and then Fandango versus Chris Jericho.
The Miz, just because it's a comeback match, and Cody's just The Miz, and then for Fandango, Jericho. I hope they put Jericho over, but honestly, I think they're not going to quit the Fandango gimmick, and you'll see Fandango go over.
All right, let's go over to Lance. Lance, first off, again, your thoughts, Miz versus Cody Rhodes on the YouTube pre-show, and then Chris Jericho versus Fandango.
Miz, because like everybody's been saying, is a comeback match, and Jericho, Fandango, Jericho.
All right, James, over to you. Your thoughts on first Miz versus Cody Rhodes, then Chris Jericho versus Fandango.
Well, for me, it's really the pre-show match. I'm picking the Miz because everybody says it's his return match, and I don't see the Miz losing. But for like the Chris Jericho Fandango, I'm gonna have to go with Fandango because I think I just. I don't think that WWE's gonna let the Fandango character die. I think they just gonna try to push him until they finally decides to give up. So, and I think this one, if they add a stipulation, I think it'll be something. I think it's gonna involve the ballroom. So I think maybe a ballroom brawl, like have a brawl in the ballroom or something. I don't know.
All right, let's go over to Chris. Chris, I know you've been itching to do a little bit of Fandangoing, but first off, your thoughts on YouTube pre-show, The Miz versus Cody Rhodes, then Chris Jericho versus Fandango.
I hope The Miz slaps the mustache off of Cody Rhodes. And as for the other thing, I hope Chris Jericho sends Fandango, Fan Dodge Durango, whatever the fuck his name is. Fan Dodge Durangoing back to the shithole that he came from. And yeah, I think it's the worst gimmick that WWE has ever come up with, next to the gobbledygooker.
Well, here are my final thoughts and predictions. First off, on The Miz versus the Cody Rhodes, I have to agree with everyone. Since it is The Miz's comeback match, the power of the Love Stash will not be enough for Cody Rhodes to overcome The Miz and either the Skull Crushing finale or, as we've been seeing a lot lately from him, the Figure 4 leg lock. So my prediction is for The Miz to win via either the Skull Crushing finale or the Figure 4 leg lock. Now, as far as Chris Jericho and Fandango is concerned, it has indeed been a very, very poor build between these two. The dance-off they had on Monday Night Raw could have been so much better than the route they went, but the route they chose was really, really terrible. Because the fact of Chris Jericho's background with Dancing with the Stars, they really could have had a true, legitimate dance-off between these two, but they decided to go the route they did. And to me, that was a very, very poor way of handling the storyline of Jericho and Fandango. Now, I can understand WWE's use of using Jericho to try to put over Fandango in a sense. Yeah, it made sense for them to go over on Jericho at WrestleMania to kind of give him an edge, but ever since then, it's just really been a downhill slide for the Fandango gimmick, other than the fact in East Rutherford, New Jersey, of the fans just going absolutely apeshit and doing the Fandangoing, as Chris has just been so wantonly to do right now. Chris, I'm going to go ahead and give you go ahead and Fandango it a little bit.
Well, wait, do you want me to do it normally or in the style of Jerry Lee Lewis?
Either way is fine.
Hey, Raz is here!
Yeah! Maybe you'll be able to beat this We can't do it!
Alright, well, now since he's done that, I gotta go with Jericho for one reason only. Johnny Curtis is indeed talented, but they have handed him a very bad, very poor gimmick in Fandango. I mean, come on, even when they started the gimmick, they even mispronounced it. They didn't even start with Fandango. Who remembers when they started out with Fandango? They actually started with that. Then they went back to Fandango. They changed it back so many times. We've seen so many vignettes for Fandango. We're expecting something good. And honestly, the Fandango gimmick has really been striking out for WWE. So I see Chris Jericho going over on this match and possibly the end of the Fandango gimmick. But then again, that is just my hope on it. What we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts. Who do you see winning with The Miz versus Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho taking on Fandango? Put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Rick Starr, as he endeavors to get our guests back here on Skype, because Skype is just being very uncooperative at this point in time in the recording. Rick, where can fans check you out over on HWR?
Of course, they can always find me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And of course, you can always listen to my pickup shows. That's over at Spreaker.com/HWR Media.
Ashton Spears and the Trilogy will be in Abbeville, Louisiana, May 19th as GCW presents 100% Chance of Pain. Ashton, what can GCW fans expect to see from you guys in the Trilogy coming up May 19th?
You can see me defend my hardcore title in a gauntlet match, and Trucker Jones, the second member, will become the GCW champion, period.
Lance, what can fans expect to see when they visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceBossTV?
Wrestling reviews, album reviews, NASCAR reviews, and basically whatever else pops into my head.
James, you got some activity going on over on VonLive.net. What you got going on?
Okay, for Von Live, we're gonna do a wrestling, the Extreme Rules prediction. I think this Wednesday or Thursday. So if you want to put in your prediction for Extreme Rules, we are happy to. And for the other times, we'll be on Instigate, the gaming side of Vaughn, and doing game shows and other gaming over there.
Chris Rogers is the master of Rockin' Ways 11294. Chris, where can fans check out Rockin' Ways 11294?
You can check it out on our website at rockinwaves.com, where this week, and no, Billy, I'm not doing what you think I'm about to do. I'm actually going to give a little insight. During the Summer of Rockin' this month and next month, and possibly the month after that, for the rest of the Summer of Rockin', at least once a week, we're going to try to profile a different member of the Beatles during their career with the Beatles and then their solo career. So, and the next Beatle we're going to be profiling is, I believe, John Lennon.
Again, that is rockinways.com, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the illuminous one, the shining star, Rick Starr, the incomparable Lance Moss of Lance Moss TV, the master of Rockin' Ways 11294, Chris Rogers, James from the Big Easy, and the GCW Hardcore Champion from the Trilogy, Ashton Spears, I'm WB Millie Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching. We also like to remind everyone that tonight's commentary has been provided by the brand new Rockin' Ways 11294 toilets, now personally sponsored and endorsed by the Trilogy.
You may take a shit on my shit.
Billy, I'm stiffing the fuck out of you.
Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Spiritual medium. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. I'm Haley Ringrose. Stoke answers.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual medium. Stoke answers.